Football team of 1960.
It gives me great pleasure on behalf of everybody in Cumbernauld Gael, not alone here in Cork Park today, but throughout the world, to pay particular tribute to Micheál Muckanig, the one and only Kerryman. He has given distinguished service to our association over 7 decades. His voice is unique, the passion that he has brought to our games, and the wonderful way he has sold our association in his commentaries throughout the world has been truly immense. Micheál, we salute you. God a mille magat.
And there is the man who has seen Jubilee teams, All-Ireland winners and so many big match occasions at Croke Park over the past 62 years. The master of radio commentaries, Micheál Muckanig, who today is being honoured by the GAA for his sterling service to 2 Gaelic games in this country and indeed on many foreign fields for over half a century. Well, Micheál, of course, retiring after today's football final. OK, let's move on then. This time to get the considered thoughts now of the Down manager, James McCartan, a famous name in Down football, an All-Ireland winner himself as a player, and now wee James is hoping to guide the county to their 6th All-Ireland title.
Here's a goal chance. James McCartan rolls it in.
Well, I suppose if you're making a list of all the pros and the cons and the reasons to do it and the reasons not to do it, the reasons not to do it would have been a lot longer of a list. But I suppose whenever there's red and black in you and you get the opportunity, you just take it. We didn't know where we really stood. We felt with some good players in the county. We've always felt with good players within this county. And wondered, did we have enough?
Ball inside. It's a chance for Poland. It's the back of the net.
As the year went on, look, we've grown slowly. Obviously, probably the biggest leaps we've taken, you know, were the Sligo performance and the Kerry and the performances in Croke Park, because before that, I'm sure nobody was thinking of us for an All-Ireland final. Possibly the game against Sligo came at the right time for us, in the fact that you know, they were on a downer and it's hugely difficult. It's an unfair system, but that's a debate for another day. And we took advantage of that, but it gave our guys that wee bit of belief that they needed against a quality team, that you know, they could do it. Now, we got no credit for that game, and then we went in against Kerry and we got no credit for that game, and we went in against Kildare and we won that by accident as well. So I just hope the accidents keep occurring. Anybody that sees Down playing football well, the tactic's fairly simple. Try and get the ball into the scoring zone relatively quickly, and that's the way we've always played. I suppose I'm not sure if you do your stats how much kick passing we do and as opposed to hand passing, but we try and kick the ball if it is possible to kick it and cut out, you know, these sweepers and extra men back. If possible, if we can't, we'll look up and we'll give it short and then we'll reassess it again. But look, we try and get the ball into danger early, and that's a tactic probably most teams have. It is difficult coming up to the All-Ireland final. You can't really let your guard down and relax and enjoy it, because you're always, you know, checking yourself because there's some box that you haven't covered or ticked. There's some angle that you just can't let your guard down, and you can't get carried away with all the hype. The only people really are enjoying it are the supporters. You know, even the players. You tell them to relax and try and enjoy it, but you just wonder how much they're able to. Oh, absolutely nervous from start to finish. I don't know, maybe it does show, but yeah, there's times the nerves are jangling through me. There's no doubt about that before the game, during the game, and certainly whenever Kildare are about to take a 14-yard free kick and with 10 men along the line. Yeah, I was nervous that time too.
Hits off the crossbar.
Goodness, you know, it's something you do let yourself. I know Benny Coulter said in the press conference he's been dreaming about it for 10 years, getting to an All-Ireland final. Well, I haven't really been dreaming about managing Down in an All-Ireland final, but certainly over the last couple of weeks, the thought of being able to bring Sam Maguire back to the county, and you know, obviously every player and every part of the management team is a close family, but I suppose my own, obviously, you know, the history of GAA in it would be nice to keep that history going, and yeah, like, I can't really express how much it would mean.
Those are the thoughts of the Down manager, James McCartan. Well, this year's All-Ireland final is a new experience for this present Down team, but for Cork, well, they went through this experience 12 months ago, and clearly their manager, Conor Coonahan, is hoping that it has a happier ending than it did back then. 3 years into the manager's post, the big prize has yet to be landed, but when Gerard Canning met him recently, well, he found him in a relaxed mood.
3 years seems a long time away now. Very conscious of where we were coming from. 2007, that particular All-Ireland final defeat was pretty crushing. You know, there was events after that, you know, a certain amount of damage done. This year, you know, it's probably been an upward curve again in the sense of that, you know, we actually won the Division 1 title, and we're here now in an All-Ireland final, and, you know, it's where everyone wants to be.
Is there some psychological baggage that you'd be concerned about having lost to?
No, I think, look, you know, if you look at any of the sports, you know, there are occasions when you are obviously beaten by better teams, and, you know, I firmly believe the best team wins all the time, and there was times maybe we weren't good enough. I think it shows great character in a team that can come back from those type of defeats, and, you know, I think our lads have shown that in abundance. From our point of view, you know, experience is quite invaluable in these days of All-Ireland finals, and, you know, there's certainly no doubt that, you know, in days gone by, particularly in relation to Kerry, they had an abundance of experience which, you know, played a major part. Hopefully the last few years that we've gained that experience, and we can bring that to bear on Sunday. We were never, as I saw it, the hot favourites that other people might have perceived us to be. I think, you know, maybe some people got carried away, be it media, pundits or whatever, but, you know, I would certainly have seen that it was always going to be a battle. All-Irelands are very hard won by, and, you know, some people had put us up there on that pedestal, and, you know, they're the same people that are probably now asking questions about us. People have set themselves up in a particular way to maybe counteract us, and, you know, while some might say they would have done well in that, the reality is we still overcame those obstacles. It doesn't allow us to play with the same flair or whatever that people might like, but, you know, at the end of the day, you know, you're saying to me about playing the best football last year. You know, the reality is I'd much prefer to be remembered for being the All-Ireland champions for last year. One thing I'd have learned again from my own playing days was, you know, there isn't much point in getting excited, you know, until 3:30, you know, from a player's perspective, and you're trying to tell them that. Plus, look, the reality is on occasions like this, you know, if guys are looking out to you on the sideline, then the show is over. You know, once they cross that white line, you know they need to be ready to do the job. Any guy you put out in front of 82,000 or 84, he's got to be able to stand up on his own 2 feet and make the big calls. It's all about getting the result at this stage.
That's the Cork manager, Conor Coonahan, and this is the Down team out onto the pitch here at Croke Park for their big day, taking part in the All-Ireland football final of 2010. And, you know, the beginning of the year and beginning of the season, people say, who do you think is going to win this year's All-Ireland? And we all make our predictions and we try and do the best of it, but who would have said that Down were going to be in the All-Ireland final this year? Well, they obviously believed in themselves, beaten earlier in the championship by Tyrone, but have bounced back big time. And here is the colour all the way down from the morn for this big final. And I suppose we'll know, gentlemen, in a few minutes' time, in a little over 20 minutes, as to whether this belief that we have, that they have the belief, will actually stand up to the pressure.
Yeah, well, the first rule of war, I think, is that, you know, in the first skirmish, all the planning that was made in advance goes out the window, and players in a big game like this will be the same thing. They'll have plotted and planned for weeks and weeks on end, and once the players go on the field, it takes a life of its own.
Yeah.
And in that sort of scenario, always the cream comes to the top, and the brilliant players stand out. And that's why over the last 10 years we've had Gooch and Peter Canavan and Sean Kavanagh, and players like that, Darragh O'Shea, who dominate finals. It will be the same today. Cork need a hero, and they're searching for him for 3 or 4 or 5 years, and they haven't found him yet in the big day in Croke Park. Maybe this is the day for Paul Kerrigan or Daniel Goulding or Paddy Kelly to become the hero and steer Cork home, because it would look, if you're looking at the flair players that Down have, Benny Coulter, Danny Hughes, and of course Marty Clark. So it's going to be a test. Who's going to be the star? Who's going to guide his team home?
You don't give any credence at all to the way the team sets up, like the system or the pattern up there or anything like that. You think that's irrelevant?
Well, you
know what I mean?
No, I do. But Pat made the comment earlier that he thought Cork were a bit more composed this year. That'd be the last word I used with Cork.
I agree.
No, I said it in the last 15-20 minutes against Dublin. It was the first time in vital games that they did show composure, that they did show leadership in that last 20 minutes.
But I think that it was purely by chance that they won that game. But the other thing about it is, you make the point that sort of Cork are a bit disorganised. Now, I don't agree with that either. You can't get to All-Ireland finals year after year and beat all the teams, bar Kerry, without having a certain plan, a certain organisation. So it's somewhere between the two.
I think that they're a very powerful team. They're brilliant at winning the ball and recycling the ball and all of that. But the difficulty is, it was highlighted against the Dubs that whenever you play against that sort of organised defence, you need to know specifically what it is you're doing, and which is why they floundered so badly against the Dubs. And I suppose the difference between Dublin and Down is that Down have a greater variety of scorers and a greater variety of skills in their team. And you know, when you couple that with the systematic way that they've been playing, you know, you think that it's going to be even more difficult for Cork today. You make this point about heroes, but you know, magical performances don't just materialise.
All right, lads, let's go down pitch side to find out who Marty Morrissey has with him right now.
Thank you very much, Michael. I've been to both dressing rooms before they emerged onto the pitch. No changes on the Down team, but I've been told 99.99 Graham Canty will not start this All-Ireland final, and the man that will take his place is John Miskela. Well, I'm joined by two players who played against each other, marked each other in the All-Ireland semi-final of 1994, Niall Cahalan and Mickey Linden. Fond memories of that match, I believe, Niall, for you.
I didn't get this close to him, I can assure you that day. You know, it was a torturous outing for me, Marty, I assure you. You know, probably the beginning and the end.
Niall, talk to me about the absence of Graham Canty. The lads in the studio with Mike were talking about looking for a hero. Yeah. Graham Canty has been a hero in the past.
Yeah, Graham Canty, as I have said in the past, over the last decade, has been certainly the leading light in Cork football. Is he going to be a loss? Yes, there's no doubt about it. But I also think that it isn't in the last 2 hours or in the last 24 hours that Cork have decided that Graham Canty is out. You know what I mean? I think that when I see the team named during the week, I just felt there was no way.
Will it upset the balance?
I would say not, because I think they've planned without it before now.
Mickey Linden, obviously this has been an incredible journey led by James McCartan, but Ambrose Rogers, it looks like he's able to play if required, I've been told. How true is that, or how accurate is that?
I know he played for 35 minutes in a training game last weekend and played fairly well in it, but whether he's able to come up to the speed and the intensity of an All-Ireland final, it's very doubtful at this stage. If things were going very well in the last 10 minutes or something, there might be a chance of him introduced, but I can't really see him introduced apart from that. But let's see how it goes. First of all, you know, it's nice to see that he's out there anyway. He led the team out. And
just a very quick comment from both of you. They talk about Cork's squad. You know, you have Nicholas Murphy, Declan, Derek Kavanagh to be introduced. Is that a fear and apprehension and Down? Too many big guns?
Yeah, well, I would have said some of those fellas maybe should have started the team. You know, I'd have feared Nicholas Murphy on the team rather than the midfield they have at the minute. But I think our midfield is going to compete very well today. I don't see any reason why Peter Fitzpatrick and Callum King can't break 50-50 or even better in that sector. And obviously the power and strength of the Cork half-back line coming through, that would worry me probably a wee bit more than their midfield.
Very briefly, because we're running out of time, Cork to win this, considering that squad that you've mentioned to me in the past?
I would think, yes, if we're within any 2 or 3 points of Down with 20 minutes to go, I think game, set and match.
Okay, Mickey Linden, Niall Cahalan, thank you very much for joining us. And indeed, we send our best wishes to your dad. This is his first All-Ireland final. That's John Cahalan down in Castlehaven in West Cork. Hope you enjoyed the All-Ireland final. Let's get the scene set from our big match commentator, Ger Canning.
Thanks very much indeed, Marty. You know, when these two counties met in the under-21 final last year, Down were 2 points ahead with time almost up, but Cork got a last-minute goal to snatch the victory and to break young Down hearts. You can be sure that if Down are 2 points up today, as the clock counts down, senior goalkeeper Brendan McVeigh will be doing his level best to keep his goal intact. Playing behind a full backline that now has Dan Gordon as its focal point at number 3, just his 6th game playing there. The half-back line is anchored by Burren's Kevin McKernan, who managed to get forward and score